Hello there and welcome to Saber Duel Gaming, where we always take the high ground. And welcome to our retro review of the 16-bit classic Aladdin. Now, apparently there is a massive online debate as to which is the best version, the Mega Drive or Genesis version or the Super Nintendo version. So what I'm going to try to do today is focus on the game overall. I have played both versions of the game, so hopefully I'll be able to do that as a generic thing. Please be warned in advance, most of the footage you're going to see on the screen is from the PS4 re-release, which is a port of the Sega Mega Drive version. However, the review content is going to try its best to cover both of them. But if you are particularly triggered by this and have a major side as to which one you think is best, please stay with the channel, because later on down the line we are going to be tackling this particular gaming war in more detail. But until then, let's get to it. Throughout most of gaming history, there's been the one constant that whenever there is a successful movie, you will always see a cheap cash grab game thrown along by it. And this has been especially noticeable in animation. And it was this exact trope that the creators of Disney's Aladdin on all systems were desperate to get away from. Interviews with the creators have spoken about how they themselves had seen this and they wanted to make a game that stood up on its own, as well as honouring the movie it came from. And that's exactly what they did. Regardless of the console version you were playing, you were guaranteed to play a game that had many subtle nods to the movie, but still stood apart and made a fantastic game on its own. Right from the loading screens, it's clear that this is a game in which the creators have put a lot of love for the original movie into it, while still adding their own little flair. And the further we get into the game, the more of this we see, the health meter being the smoke coming out of the lamp, and the continue points being jars that when spun around show the genie's face. All of these show a love for the content. Another aspect of the game that it's become famous for is the music. 16-bit audio had its limitations, but this game managed to overcome them to create beautiful audio. Music that took songs from the film and placed them in their own little way that people still love now. In fact, the PS4 version actually comes with a special audio option to listen to these songs because people loved them so much. With the amount of longevity the game had, let's be honest, 16-bit games back then had a fair bit of difficulty added to them. This game was unsurprisingly given marks of between 85 and 90%, meaning regardless of whether you were playing on the SNES or the Mega Drive, with both versions having their own advantages and disadvantages, either way, you had an absolutely classic platform game that showed real love for the content. And it showed. This is a game that has lived on in history. It's also one of those rare games that is often remembered by people who no longer classify themselves as gamers, but have such a love for the Disney content that this game has held a special place in their heart. But how does it rank up now, under that famous modern scrutiny? Overall, the play is still very enjoyable, and the movie ties in give it a real charm that sort of drag you back into it, pretty much exactly what was missing from the Jedi Starfighter review I recently did. However, it has to be said that at times the controls can get a little bit irritating, and this leaves it with a mark of about 7.5 out of 10, still definitely worth checking out. Please consider commenting, liking and subscribing, and we hope to see you soon. Take care.